I want everybody from this moment on to recognize me as the scholar of boxing. Yeah, that's it, Jim. The rope comes up here with a beautiful shot back and forth. That's the right. He's back and forth with the right hand. Most people don't know shit about boxing at all. Did you get what you were looking for?
Look at David throw his right hand. Look at the back foot come up off the ground. He does this when he's shadow boxing. And I noticed it on film that his feet are not in sync with his hands. And sometimes his hands will get ahead of his feet or vice versa. His feet will get ahead of his hands even when he's moving backwards. And how people shadow box is exactly how they fight. A lot of people don't take the time to master the fundamentals. But, I mean, you can look at a person shadow boxing and tell if they got something or if they're lacking in something. And that's immediately what jumped off the page for me with David Avanesyan, is that he throws the right hand, lunges in and comes up off of his back toe and does not leave it anchored. And Bud and his people noticed it also on film too, which is why I thought this would be a short night for David Avanesyan. I thought he would come in and do what he normally does against the counterpuncher and he would pay. But shockingly, David Avanesyan made it work for him. Watch. He comes in, he leans in and falls in with that foot and switches to southpaw and then hits him with a shot from an angle that Bud is not used to seeing. So he made it work for him. Awkward cleverness is what they call it, where you can take something that people might see as a flaw or might not see as polished and you make it work for you. See right there, he falls in again and then he leans in and sends Bud that right hook over the top at a different angle that he's not used to. And then he comes back, switching back to orthodox, throwing left hooks. It's the subtle things you miss if you don't know what you're looking at. So right here, look, Bud starts probing with his right jab. You know, easy as ABC, right? All you have to do is probe for it, got to sludge it in. And right there, he steers him off just slightly a little bit, but he changes levels at the last second, makes it difficult. But when Bud tries it again, sticks out the right probing jab, David takes a step back. You see that step back and then a small step to the left, switches stances and hit Bud with a right to the body and stays under his probing jab, then works his way up the ladder. Left uppercut to the body and a double right hook to the head. So although Bud made this fight look easy, it was very difficult because David was making adjustments, but he fell prey to his own strategy that was working. Notice right here that he jumps in with the right hand so he can switch, and he throws it at Bud's chest. Look where his eyes is. He knows he's not going to hit Bud in the head with this punch, but the idea is to move the counter puncher out of position so he can't counter. But he became predictable. Look, Bud sticks the probing jab, and notice that he always takes a step back, dips his head to his right, and then lunges in before he switches his stance. And Bud starts using that uppercut to back him up. That and lay left hands to keep David's head off his right, and uppercuts is how he backed him up. Look, right there, uppercut, then left hand to the body. You ever wonder why it looked like Bud was shadow boxing in there? It's because Bud found something. He found an opening. Check this out. Right there, he throws a straight right and just pushes him off balance. Not really to knock him out, just to poke holes in his guard right there and to keep him out in front. And from switching so much, he had to get him stabilized. And to move him back right, let's hit him with a left hook up top and then turn it into an uppercut, the Mike Tyson move. Notice after Bud finishes, he smothers him and charges into him with his shoulders, not giving him room to switch. And what does he do? He lunges up with that straight right hand to Bud's shoulders, because earlier in the rounds when he came up lunging, switching stances, Bud would lose ground, but now Bud has planted his feet, and that was the major adjustment in this fight. David was throwing at Bud's shoulders all he wanted to, but Bud just was not budging. He planted his feet and he stayed in the pocket. Right here, he pushes him off. He tries to hit him with a headshot, and then David's on his back heels. What does Bud do? Steps in, lands a right uppercut. Then he anticipates the punch, and then he steps in right there, smothers this guy's switch. That's the genius in Bud right there. He steps in and he comes up and throws the right hand anyway. Bud parries it because he knows that it's coming. So he has this guy's ticket at this point. He has his number. He knows exactly what to do. Right there, he blocks the right hook and smothers him from switching. He can't switch effectively. So he tries to back Bud up by just touching him and throwing shots to the chest and knocking him out of position. But Bud is not giving any ground in this fight. He's pushing him back. Now he's landing a left hook and then he's turning into a left uppercut, lifting his head up, pushing him on his back heels. And that was a difference in this fight. David so desperately wanted his game plan to get back implemented that look here, he just falls in and leans and then just tries to push Bud football style. Push him back. Give me some ground. Give me some space so I can switch effectively, Bud, and get back on my game plan. Now that he has a little space, he wants more. He throws to the shoulders of Bud with a leaping left hook. Back him up just to get him out of position. And of course, if it worked the first time, I mean, common sense it'll work the second time. So he falls in again, but Bud meets him with the forearm right there. Meets him with the forearm. Don't let him get to that space that he needs, and Bud pushes him back. Pushes him back right there. See, pushes him back and gets his weight on his back foot. Bud is not losing as much ground, and he still throws to the shoulders to try to get the room that he needs. tried the exact same sequence that he tried before. Smother, and then throw to the shoulders to get Bud out of position, but it did not work. Now Bud has him going backwards. The pace of the fight has changed. At this point, Bud understands that he has to get him switching from southpaw to orthodox, lunging in with that straight left hand, and he's computing right there. He rolls his shoulders and he sees the opening for the uppercut. He's down low. He's aware that he has to catch him switching in that very position, switching from southpaw to orthodox. Right here, he's about to switch, and Bud just sends a straight left right down the middle and knocks him off balance. The counter misses. Bud doesn't do nothing but take a little half step back, but he's still in position to counter punch. He pushes him off with the shoulders so he don't give off any ground, and then throws an uppercut, and then throws another left uppercut. David Avanesyan tries to get smart and angles off to that side. What does Bud do? Frames, keeps him in front of him, pushes him slightly, and lands another uppercut. Just little subtle things you might have missed. Right here, Bud tries to draw that punch out that he needs, that straight left jab, catch him switching, but he throws the right instead, and Bud parries the punch. Right here on the inside, Bud lays his hand on his left, drawing out that punch, and finally he gives it to him, and Bud is able to counter with a left hook. Right here, David tries to step in, and Bud meets him with the forearm, doesn't allow him to switch positions, so he still tries to force his strength in there, and he tries to step off to Bud's left and get an angle, and Bud breaks down and puts the forearm on him, frames off of him, and braces himself for that left lunging jab while he switches stances and catches him with an uppercut. And David still falls in, trying to push Bud off and create that space that he needed that he was effective with, but Bud counters with a form of his own, framing off of him, and then catches him with a left hook, and then he tries to do it again, but pushes him off with the right forearm, and then he draws that punch that he wants, and then Bud counters with a left uppercut and a right hook to polish him off, and that's all she wrote. Beautiful knockout. Beautiful. I'm gonna let Bud take you home, but anyway, it's the Boxing Scholar, and I'm out.
At the pace, plant my feet, and I caught him with a hook.
Was there anything that he did that surprised you in his approach and his game plan, and did you have to make any adjustments throughout, or was this kind of according to plan?
No, we actually knew what he was going to bring to the table. We knew he was going to go back and forth from orthodox to southpaw. We knew he was going to try to counter. We knew he was going to pressure me. And, everything else is history.